Hi everyone, welcome to the third part of our 5-part series on rainscaping. I'm your host, Foster. In this segment, we will be discussing two important aspects of any rainscaping project: site design and installation. Site design includes considerations for the natural grading of your property, plants native to your area, and the general aesthetic you want to achieve. We will speak with area experts and landscape architects who will guide us through the design and installation process. Then, we will visit the Blandford site for an excavation and installation. In this segment, we will learn why native plants are the best plants for successful rainscaping installations. So now, I'm going to pass it off to our local experts in the field.
My name is Nicole DeMall. I work for Trout Unlimited as the Great Lakes Program Habitat Manager. For the rainscaping program, we are targeting residents. This is important because the work that we're doing, we want it to be sustainable for the long term. In order to do that, we need to engage and empower local residents in protecting their streams from stormwater runoff. With stormwater runoff, we are concerned about changes from a natural landscape to an urban landscape. With a natural landscape, you have trees and native plants that when it rains, it can intercept that runoff and it will infiltrate it into the ground or soak it up into its root systems, and it can be stored in groundwater and released slowly into our river systems. As we start to change the landscape, cut down those trees, add buildings, sidewalks, rooftops, or what we call impervious surfaces, that rainwater runs off the surface of the land directly into our streams. With these rainscaping programs, we are trying to take that rain, that stormwater runoff, and we are trying to spread it out, slow it down, and soak it into the ground. In doing site assessments on residential properties, the most common practices that they will install are rain gardens. And rain gardens can be very small to large rain gardens, so you don't have to have a lot of property to install a rain garden. We can make these rain gardens look very maintained to natural. So it just depends on the goal of the homeowner and how they want it to look. There are a variety of native plants. They come in different sizes, shapes, flowering during different seasons. So that is why it's important to have a landscape architect or somebody familiar with gardening to help you make a plan that will work for your yard.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Marquardt. Today I'm talking about site prep, and I am with Reverie, which is a landscape architecture firm in Grand Rapids. After you've done your proper site assessment and have selected a site, you do want to make sure that you're 15 feet away from the building. That way you're not allowing for water to permeate and potentially flood into your basement or jeopardize the foundation. For a rain garden, you want to first begin by removing the sod or lawn, and you can do that in many different ways. You can rent a sod cutter and actually quite literally cut the sod away from the area you're going to be putting in your garden. You can also use mulch or cardboard to smother the lawn that's existing, and that is best done at least 3 months in advance. And the third option would be to manually, with shovel, cut and remove the sod. And you'd want to make sure that you get the root zone of the lawn as well. So that means going down a minimum of 3 inches. After you have identified where that garden is and you've prepared the site by removing the existing vegetation, you are going to want to think about excavation. That means removing and digging some of the soil so that you can create depressions in which the stormwater or rain can go into. Really what you're doing is you're grading and kind of manipulating the landscape in this way. Once you have established what your grade is going to be, you will have a surplus of soil. And it is highly recommended that you keep that soil on place and use them in the form of a berm, sort of to contain your rain garden. Rain gardens are really like bathtubs. They're a bowl And the edge of that bowl, having a berm, helps hold that water in and do what you're wanting it to do, and that is permeate into the groundwater. So rain gardens and bioswales and other kinds of green infrastructure can be more than just about the plants. We can create some habitat for the wildlife that we're trying to attract. Find rocks that have little divots or pockets or holes that in a rain event, they'll collect that water and the butterfly will find a little puddle of mineral-rich water to drink, and birds appreciate these kinds of natural bird baths and drinking locations as well. So now your site is prepared. You have this great location where you've decided to have your rain garden. The soil is bare and you would like to create some additional interest, and you would want to locate some of the bigger rocks prior to putting down the next step, which is erosion blanket. By setting your rock prior to putting down the erosion control blanket, you can anchor that rock into the soil so it looks a little bit more natural and sort of established. It may, like as if the rock has always been there. The erosion control blanket, you can cut in pieces and staple it into the ground so that it is secured everywhere that there are no rocks. And then from that, you plant your landscape plugs or quarts or gallons of plants right within the blanket.
Hello everybody, back at the Blandford Nature Center's rain garden site, and with the help of local elementary schools and community volunteers, we're going to be planting some native plants. So, let's get started. Hi.
Hi, Foster.
How are you?
Good. Amy Heilman. I'm a local landscape designer. I specialize in native species and creating habitat gardens. Brought in a variety of different native species, some that can really take very long periods of standing water, and others that will be situated more on the drier sides of this bioswale.
Okay.
So I think I've got about 17 or 18 different species. The growth and the awareness and need for native species has just skyrocketed.
So we'll have the students come in, and how are we going to plant these?
Well, the students will have trowels,
Okay.
because most of the plants are very small, so they just need a very small hole. So we'll have them first go through and open up the matting here that's holding the soil in place.
Okay.
They'll open that up and just expose a small hole, and then insert the plants. The plants are plug size, so that's about 3 inches of root system right now,
Okay.
and the top is very short because the plants are going into their dormant season now. So even though they look fairly, died back on top, they're actually very strong and capable of growing next spring.
That concludes our segment on site design and installation. Remember, the site assessment summary you will receive will include recommendations for the ideal locations for rainscaping projects on your property. The summary will also include a list of area experts and contractors who can assist you every step of the way. As we learned in this video, native plants have deep, extensive root systems that facilitate the infiltration of rainwater down into the groundwater. These plants are able to keep more water out of the stormwater system while also encouraging local native ecosystems to flourish. In our next video, we will discuss the maintenance of rainscaping installations. Thanks for watching. This concludes video 3 of our 5-part series.